all a great, beautiful, sunny, shiny, bright day, as you can see outside. So, Miss Michelle, Michael Obama, Michael Obama wants us to hire to the highest office of our country something that we don't even know if it's a woman or a man by Democrats' standards. She said she's a woman, but by Democratic standards, we don't know because these Democrats they put Kasanji Williams or into as a justice, one of the justices, and they are telling us that she was telling us that she didn't know what a woman was. So we got justices that don't know what a woman is. So we won't know what a woman is until they figure out what a woman is because they're leading the country right now. But yet they want us to see her. Hi. They want us to see her as the hi. They want us to see her as the first woman, black woman, but she's not black. She's got two foreign parents. She had two foreign parents, and by chance, we don't even know if it's a fact or not. She was born in a California hospital, but as she grew up, like became the age of 5, ever since then, 5 to adulthood, she's been raised in Canada. Her dad says he's Irish and Hindu. And according to Candace Owens, he's not just Irish and Hindu, but he may be also Jewish, you know. And if you've been following my channel, you know what Jewish is. Nothing more than a German. So European, more European. And Europeans, they got divided up into groups over there, like Irish, German, this and this. But I don't know. I don't know how true that is. I got Irish in me, but I don't know how true that is. But I'm opposite of what she is. I'm Native American. I was born on this land. She's Indian. She's like my friend Gopika, my good Indian friend Gopika. Shout out to my good Indian friend Saji. You see, I had so many good friends that are Indian, and I really miss them. I really, really miss them because they were the funnest, coolest people, Indians ever. I got to say like that because they, as far as Indians, because people, then I would make my other friends mad, right? So basically, she wants us to vote for DEI her. This woman has gotten by off of sex. Sex is what got her leg up. She had to get a leg up through sex. That's how she got the leg up, right? And that was Mr. Willie Brown. He did all those things, and he said, Mr. Willie Brown said, to this day, I love my boom boom. I love my boom boom to this day. He loves her. And I know it's got to be hard on his wife because, that's what men do. They move on from one woman to another woman. Not all men, but some men. Some men who are not men. So she had a Democratic man that was not a man. And we've seen these Democratic men. Tim Walz, her partner she chose, her husband she chose. We know what these Democratic men look like. Uh, oh, uh, and that radio DJ that I just can't stand Charlemagne the God. Perhaps if he can change the errors of his ways and learn to become a better person, then like the rest of us, we strive to be better than what we are, to, to help humanity, to love humanity. And I don't see that. And that's why I'm so hard on that brother. That's the only reason why I'm so hard on that brother. He just does not seem like he wants to be honest with the people. He wants to back her and then misguide a lot of our people out here. And I mean, we can't, it's hard enough to fight, uh, for what's right, for our people, because I already know in my mind what's going to happen if this happens. We're going to be back in the same situation again with the DEI horror. And Michelle Obama, they want power. They want to hold on to power. Well, Michael, I could tell you why I call her Michael, because my own mom says she's Michael. It's Michael. She knows because she's been around. My mom has been around longer than me. She says she remembers the time when this was a man. And if she remembers that, if she was then back then she should know. I don't know. My mom knows this. And I'm sure a whole lot of other people know this. But let's get off of that point and let's get into the real point. The real point is these people are trying to lead us to a place that is destructive. And I've been talking about this. We got to protect ourselves. We got to protect ourselves here in America. Because what it is, this woman is not an American woman. I don't care how they want to spend it. Oh, she was born in a hospital in California. You can be born on soil, but I don't think that's going to ever make you the community that lives on that soil, the community that strives on that soil, the community that lost a lot of blood on that soil. I don't think you can ever give a baby newborn, an American identity just because they're born here or there anywhere in the world. They have to be engulfed in that culture. They have to have the community surround them, lay hands on them. That's what we do here in America. We uplift our newborns. We dedicate them in churches. They are raised in our ways. The community, used to come together and rear that child. So that was back in Kamala's days when the community was tight knit. And if that didn't happen, then her mom was just out there, she worked for them people that pushed the civil rights thing. And she came at probably the tail end of it. So all this about her mom being an activist, no, she wasn't a civil rights activist in the way of she was connected to anybody's community. No, she was a foreign student who met another foreign student, and they had a foreign baby together. And just because that baby was born on the soil, they still are foreign to America. They're both foreign to America. They didn't know the American ways. They were pursuing careers. They came from families of money. Kamala's father was the inheritant of $11 million that was given to the family in Jamaica, the European family, his European part of his family, his dad's part of his family. Well, probably, yeah, his dad's part of the family because his mom was Hindu. She was also Hindu and European. So basically, his father is who we paying attention to because his father is on that side had the slaves and had the town named after his grandfather's name, Brown. So they they were giving something back. They were giving because they lost their slaves at the time the slavery ended. And I don't know what Jamaican is proud of these people or proud of Kamala right now. I hope they're not. Because it was your people that were enslaved in Jamaica on that island. It was your people who are not getting anything from Britain. It was her people who got $11 million, and to this day they're elitists. Now, that in itself is enough for them people to be satisfied and be nice to you and be, because it ended. But no, what did they do? They found another way that they can enslave black people and all people, not just black people, but all people. And this way that they found that they can enslave the people is called communism. Been Marxist. And now, here in America, they come up with all these things to destroy the Americans. Sexual immorality, sexual degradation. Let's brainwash their children into thinking they are sexually supposed to be born something else. Let's destroy their food industry by giving them this taste of sugar. Let's stop having farmers. Let's make them sell their land. It started way back. Let's have them sell their land and want to move to the city. Who do you think is the architect of all of this? Women's lib, civil rights. The Democrats push racism. They want to get this DEI hired, and she ain't earned a dime. She used the black man. The black man is still in love with Poom Poom. To this day. She used Montel Williams. Montel Williams got on the television like he was ready to knock a Nick out. Like he was ready to knock somebody out. Like if you say one word wrong, I'm going to bust the teeth out. They're going to all come out. I remember that interview. He was on there defending his Poom Poom. So, not only that, so she went through those two men, and guess who else she went through secretly? But she got George Soros on her side too. But I think it's more than George Soros, and it's always deeper than that. She just might have the Rothschilds. She might be a Rothschild as far as we're concerned. She could be a Rothschild, So we have to know that these people been doing this for a long time and they brag about it. The Rothschilds, what they did was the father, the ancient father. I'm going to say the ancient father of the Rothschilds. In case you want to catch the video and not take my word for it, how the Rothschilds, got up. They come from Russia somewhere. And he sent all his sons to different countries. And they get into the politics of those countries. And that's how they, get their money or, you have to look at it because I think they had a little money before that when they were, didn't look like it in their documentary. It didn't look like they came from, humble beginnings, but criminal industry, okay? They finally got some legit products they sell in Kroger's, and Kroger's is another thing. Kroger's is another thing. You got to know who's behind the American slave trade. You got to understand who's behind the American slave trade as well. And it happens to be Jewish, but I know there's different types of Jewish, and I'm not even going to get into that, you know, but Kroger's is a Jewish owned store, and Rothschilds sell their products like their dressings and stuff and sauces and from Kroger's. So basically, this DEI hire was put here to basically distract our people. But we're supposed to be at the point now where we're sick and tired of the Dems' promises and them neglecting, and now they're neglecting the American people. But Michael Obama somehow is trying to tell us that she did this for the people. She ain't done nothing for the people. And the people need to see that they are using racism in the wrong way, because this woman has nothing to do with racism, because she comes from racism. She comes from a slave owner. She's married. Who did she choose to marry? While they're telling you that Trump is a racist, who did she choose to marry? Look, you got to do the genealogy on Imhoff. Do the genealogy, because he might be Hitler's cousin. He might be blood cousins with Hitler. We don't know. Hitler was Jewish. Hitler was Jewish. It was just a religion. It was not a bloodline. But I think in their minds it's a religion and a bloodline. Because what they'll do is they'll look at the DNA, and then they'll separate themselves, and they'll say, we're going to take on this religion. That's probably what they did back then. I don't know. I wasn't back then. I'm just saying it's more likely that that's what they did. You say, get some rest, honey. Hey, Lawrence Jackson, welcome. So basically, I don't think we can afford to be tricked right now, because we're going to lose our country, just as Trump said. We're going to lose our country because she then already allowed her forces in while she's talking to our men. Our men, the minute she is talking to our men, but yet you highlight, I'm going to say she puts in spotlight the LGBTQ. She highlights the LGBTQ in our country. They invite queens to our White House. So what makes you think you can address men, real men? What makes her think her DEI can address real men who protect real women? This is why I say she talks to us. That's why everybody who can see, feel like our people been taught to like they're stupid, like we're fools or something, like we can fall for this crap. She was put in to put the nail in the coffin. She intentionally, this man, Biden, didn't have his mind 100% to be our president. This was a plan. Can you see the plan? Was to steal from Trump the presidency because they can't stand conservative. They can't stand a conservative with the values of the American people. They can't stand it because it interrupts the destruction they want to bring, and they ain't got time for it. So in 2020, Trump was doing great things. He was doing great things. So that's why you got to realize who's behind all of this to destroy America. They've been trying. This is their plan. This is what they're executing. They had to implement. I knew they were going to implement. People were saying, because they knew they were insiders, they're going to bring about a disease. And they show us on the TV. They show us in movies. All these movies about diseases, Outbreak is an easy movie to remember, and that's why they called it Outbreak. That movie was a precursor to whenever they wanted to unleash what they wanted to unleash for the agenda they wanted to release it for. And their agenda at that time was to interrupt Trump's presidency. Then, because they saw, they were like, oh, we got to stop him. He's doing too good for the American people. They don't want no good for us over here. They're the ones that have been in our dealing with our foreign relations. That's been the most horrible thing, dealing with our foreign relations. These people should have never been allowed to deal with our foreign relations. Never. For what they've done. Iraqi war, Afghanistan, Vietnam War. I'm going to have to go back. Korean War. All of that. They should have never been involved in that. What we did was we allowed crooked lawyers, legal people, ones that always fuck us. Always. I don't care. They always fuck us. And accidents. Sometimes they get people. Sometimes people get, but you got to give them a big chunk of it. So they're the ones who took advantage of the America that could have been, but they pulled it down. To this time, for us to get to this point, so they can, they created all this DEI, all of that civil rights stuff. They created all this mental stuff, and they got us to this point of degradation, where she wants to put the ultimate destruction upon us in America, and we need to stop it. We're not hiring no DEI. Obama can say what he wants. Michael can say what he wants. Clintons can say what they want. Hillary, they were talking about Hillary coming back in the White House, working under the DEI hire. And you know what I heard Hillary Clinton tell her sister, which wasn't bad, but the girl simply asked her a question. She couldn't answer the girl's question. She wasn't even humane with the sister. She said, "Well, why don't you join? Why don't you run for president?" And I thought that was the most rudest thing to do. I thought that was racist in itself because you discounted the sister. It's not like she was a white girl that came up to you. She was a black sister, that one that you claimed to support and fight behind. She did that sister like that. That sister walked up to her and asked her a question. And I felt like this is evil, wicked, racist, most hateful woman I've ever seen. She couldn't answer the girl's question simply. Um, I think I'm forming a full sentence when I talk. I form a full sentence all the time. So I don't know what you're talking about. But the whole thing is do or die. It's your decision. You can hire a DI personnel for your highest office, and I bet you this place will be one stink hole. It won't be nothing but a stink hole because she's a stink hole, and that's what she would make this place. She would make it one big stink hole. That's all she can do. Just look at California. That's all I have to say. And if you want to look at what the Democrats as a whole have done, look at Chicago, look at Detroit, look at Maryland, look at Baltimore, look at all the black communities and black cities that the Dems got voted into. I don't care about you thinking I'm sick. I think you're sick. I think you're sick for being a Democrat and continuing to do the same thing over and over again. That's sick. That's real sick. And if you think what your words say make me and break me, they don't. It doesn't. Because I still live a beautiful life regardless. I know if I'm the guardian of me and you're the guardian of you and you don't have a good life because you probably out here with Kamala and P. Diddy and the rest of them doing what you do, then that says it all. That says it all about your life. But on the other hand, if you're more conservative and you give a damn about children, 320,000 some 320 something thousand children are missing. And you're on here saying I'm sick and you're not on Kamala's platform telling her that she's sick. That says a lot. It says a lot about you as an American, if you're American, which you probably are not. But I can't say whether you're American or not. Yeah, but black people are not going to rethink their party affiliation because it's crazy. I'm about to buy a place in Texas, and as I am well aware, there is a lot of Californians who moved to Texas, and it seems like they some of them, not all of them, but some of them are still voting Democrat after they got fucked up pretty much good by Kamala's policies in California. And you know, the job losses, a lot of black people had to flee from their communities because of the gangs moving in, because of the people being allowed over the border. And she's gonna sit on there and lie and say that she was the protector of the border in California, that she brought a lot of criminal industries to, you know, she held them legally accountable, but she didn't. She didn't. And she did not save any people from being sex slaves. She didn't save nobody. That's what I don't get when she pushes this DEI, pushes the story. When she was a little girl, she had a friend who was being sexually abused. Well, hell, she probably was being sexually abused too. If she was around a sexually abused girl, and she probably did not help the girl. She claimed she helped the girl. Being from the family that she's from, a communist family who's under the radar, who her mom was actually, according to Candace Owens, MK Ultra, then how in the world do you expect a child that grew up in that nonsense to help somebody who's been sexually abused? When she decided to go to Hollywood, and she looked like she was a sex worker to me. Is that how she met Willie Brown? Was she escorting? Was she escorting? And let me see if I remember back. I remember her on TV with Willie Brown. I remember that my stepfather had mentioned something. I was a young girl at the time. So, but I remember real well her and Willie Brown on television. That was back in the days when me and my dad, we watched action movies. The news came on, or the Entertainment Tonight thing came on, and he said something. This man is all over the place with this girl, something like that. He said, I remember. You know, I got a photographic memory. You cannot tell me. And he said the man was married. Okay, he said, love being Nubian, no worries, sis. They will see what you were saying during the EBS, then they will see they are sick ones. Not you. Keep your head up. It doesn't matter what idiots. I know, idiots will be idiots. You know, I don't have to worry over anything because my life is a standing testimony because I don't have to be sitting here in this car at this time with two daughters. I don't have to be here like that because I was in California myself, and I had men come to me. One Epstein-looking man came to me and gave me his number and tried to get me into the sex work. He wanted me to do some videos, and then I was hanging with my rapper friends at the waffle and chicken place. I forgot. I don't know. My memory is not the greatest. And twice, yo man Diddy missed me twice. He missed me twice. I guess he had a time when he went there, but I was gone each time he came there. My friend wanted so much to become a rapper through Diddy. But I told my friend, I said, why do you do this? Because I had another friend that told me, you know, the deal. But I knew not about Diddy, but he told me the deal about Hollywood, period, because he hung out in Hollywood, my friend did. And he lived in LA. So this rapper friend, I kept telling him not to be hanging on P. Diddy's. Don't hang on this dude. He's not crap. He's not shit. Yeah, sleepy people love to stay asleep. See, you have to be here I don't have to be here. Let me tell you something. I didn't have to be here. I didn't have to be here. Someone could have murdered me. Did you know about the countless number of people that go to Hollywood end up disappeared? I was military at the time, so I wasn't about to go disappear. I wasn't about to disappear. I was military. I was federal, and there's a thing called federal protection that's still over me to this day. That will always be over every military member. But that is not why I survived. Not just because not everybody knew I was military. Maybe they did, because I don't know between the military and Hollywood. I don't know, but I think there's a connection. But I think people do know things, and people see things. So basically, I don't have to be here. Is what I'm saying. I didn't have to be here. I could have been found like that brother was found in the desert, because I drove back and forth to Arizona a lot by myself. I could have been. This is a man. This is a man that was driving back home by himself. I got back here by myself. People were telling me that there's something wrong. People, there's nothing wrong with you when you know you survived through some things that people that you expect to survive through those things don't survive through those things. This man lost his eyes. They found his body. His eyes was gone. His everything was gone. He was driving back home to Atlanta to his mom. Somebody murdered him, left his body out there. There's been women that have been killed, but somehow I'm sitting here in this parking lot in Virginia, and I'm alive. But people, they they want to insult me, and I got my daughters. I got a life. I survived. I didn't have to survive. I could have gotten mixed up in the wrong people, and I could have been on the desert with my body parts taken and sold to some people overseas somewhere. Everything could have been taken. So I've already voted, and I voted Trump 2024. That's what I voted, because I told people on my video. I did a video back in 2020 when the election was announced, when they stole the election, and I thought a lot of us saw that. I thought a lot of us saw them stuffing ballots and uh, taking away ballots, and I thought a lot of us saw that, witnessed it. But I can only speak for me, because I stayed up all night long, and I sat there and I watched countless stealing of the election. And now they want to tell us that no, 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 you didn't see what you saw. No, 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 you didn't see. And those who saw what they saw, they knew, and so they went there. They went there, and they weren't serious. They were angry, but they weren't serious. And they got caught up in a setup. They got caught up in a setup. See, they don't know what they're messing with. They don't know what they're messing with yet. They don't know what they're messing with. I'm gonna tell you guys that. But they're gonna find out. They're gonna fuck around and find out what they're messing with. They're gonna find out because what they did was I saw it coming. The spirit told me don't go there because I was driving back from Kentucky and I very well could have stayed in both in D.C. But and I did say that I was going to go there, go to the White House at that time. But I was tired. There was a time when I was tired, and I just drove back home straight to home instead of stopping in Washington. But because I knew it was going to be a setup, I knew the spirits. They tell you, like the spirits were with me all that time in California. The spirits was with me all that time, and telling me, "Don't do it. Don't do it." Where's your eyebrows? I got my eyebrows. They're just really, 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 really light. You see? See? They were real light. That's all. So the spirit was telling me, don't do that because it's a setup. And that's what they did. They set those people up. They did everything that I foreseen the spirit tell me that they were going to do. I knew the whole thing was a setup for Trump. So they can say what they wanted to say and do what they wanted to do. All this time, the 3.5 years, all of a sudden people think that speaking up for Kamala is in their best interest. The only people's best interest it is in, evidently, is those who are making over six figures and who are getting easily money handed to them because they're up there in the echelon. And they're getting that money. If it's not you and me, then what the hell are you arguing with your family over Kamala against Trump for? If Kamala is not worried about racism, why are you worried about racism? Believe me, racism is the leastest thing that Kamala has to worry over because she's married. She knows she's a European woman. I told y'all about the there's dark-skinned Europeans, and they're called Indians in India. That's where a lot of, there's this one actress, what's her name? I looked her up once. People thought that she had some mix in her. And they want to say black, but come and find out, no, she didn't have no black in her. She had straight Neanderthal. And you had to realize that Neanderthals were dark too. They just weren't Afrikaners. They just weren't, not Afrikaners, but they just weren't Africans. They just weren't African people. They weren't those people over there in Africa. Because the Africans have no link to Neanderthal. But the rest of us have some connection to the Neanderthal. If we're European, and that is where the European comes from. If they have any darkness in their skin, I learned that from my German aunt, who said she believes she comes from the Middle Eastern countries. The not the Arabics, because Arabics originally were Africans. But Russia, there's a lot of dark. Uh, there was dark Neanderthals in Russia because you have what they call it, Caucasia, or whatever they call that place. Okay, M4 in AP4RT. You explain it then. Explain it. Thank you, Darby Baker. Yeah, Trump 2024. I already voted for Trump. I already foreseen that Trump is supposed to take 2024. Um, some people didn't learn their lesson from all of this. So I'm a fool because it's the truth. We don't all have the same. Uh, when it comes to the African Negro, I'm trying to explain. We don't have the African Negro, pure Negro, does not have Neanderthal. Does not. That's a fact. They do not have no Neanderthal blood in them. That's the difference between us. But I'm saying I'm mixed with various different things. So unfortunately, that is my story. Hey, John Mitchell. I have a podcast because I want to have a podcast. That's why I have a podcast. And I have a podcast because, like you, I have a right to. And I feel like from time to time when I get messages, it's important to let people know what's going on, the truth, because the truth will be hidden. And like now, they're lying their asses off on a constant basis about this man Trump here. They'll tell you all the bad things because those things that they're telling you about somebody is the things that they're doing to you. Did you ever hear that? Did you ever hear that when a friend is talking about somebody else, that they're talking about you too? Uh, so who do you trust? Is Trump out here talking about people? Does Trump have the media behind him? You have to know that the media was the first thing that helped Hitler do what he wanted to accomplish to the people. He had control over propaganda. That control over propaganda is control over your mind. So you can fight and argue. That's what they want. They want distinction between the people. Because when they have distinction between the people, and everybody's arguing with their family members over Kamala and Trump, instead of, all I'm going to say before I close out is the motto of my state that I was born and raised in, that I was ingrained in Kentucky, is united we stand, divided we will fall. And these people are always dividing. If you don't see who's the Communist Party, liberalism is communist because it breaks down the fundamental standards that we've always had that were right. That were right. And what I mean by those standards is woman, man, and children. Man protects the community. Period. Period. Man is to protect the community, not out here being a rogue cop, not out here getting money from Kamala in the back end, not out here drug dealing, not out here selling women, not out here doing child porn, not out here breaking down the community. Okay, I'll leave that alone, but be careful with liberalism. Be careful with it. Be careful with it when it takes you away from who you are, who you're supposed to be. And it puts you on the road to feeling like you have to change your identity. You have to forsake your ancestors. You have to throw away your spirituality and take on something like crookedness, like being a crook. Somebody sent, and then somebody, I'm pretty sure you're funding California self because otherwise I don't know how you can afford the phone that you're using. Okay. One out of how many media channels? Jimmy W. You have no balls in the game. That game. That was supposed to say child porn. We don't live in liberalism. We live in we live in a republic. But what I'm saying is they want to move you to liberalism. They want to move these people. What do you think they're out here pushing instead of pushing economics? Economics should be the only thing that's coming out of Kamala's mouth right now, not about abortion. Because let me tell you something about abortion. Abortion should not be the first thing on somebody's mind. Sex should not be the first thing on your mind. Your sex shouldn't be the first thing on your mind. The first thing on your mind should be economics and how you're going to survive. When you put those stupid things first, then you're already done. And with that said, true love, real peace, and the higher self within you, your soul, if you have one. Till then, till next time, peace.